Alright, welcome back everyone. Here's bag F of the Pagani Zonda, which also happens to be a Formula One car if you cannot find the limited edition numbered chassis such as this one. It's upside down for a reason. I'm laying out parts as they show here. And these are some tapered seat screws, 95, 95, 95, 92, 92. And I've just come across, I don't know, it looks like they got a screw and a screw and then a lock nut, and then this thing joins as well through a couple of screws and lock nuts. But okay, so I see 1, 2, 3, 4 lock nuts, but I only see 2 screws. So this manual is really difficult. And over here we can see a screw and 2 lock nuts. Okay, so I'm guessing they're adding the secondary screws here that go through these lock nuts into this device right here. Put it on some white paper so it'll be easier to see. I've made a separate video all on this little guy right here. It made me so happy and warm inside when I was working on this little guy. So happy. There's definitely something wrong. Something has changed since the last time I've dealt with Charisma. I don't know what that is, but something has changed. Maybe it's the guy sitting behind a desk on a computer thinking he knows better than everybody else. But anyway, that's off the point. I hate desk jockeys. You know, you got to know your strengths and your weaknesses. So I have some basic layout. This is going to go somewhere in there. This is going to go somewhere. This sits somewhere in there. Then I got the appropriate screws. There's probably going to be a couple of extras at first. And I got some lock nuts. There's going to be some extras at first, but because bag F actually continues on for 2 or 3 more pages. So let's get started. So my first step is I'm going to attach this to the chassis plate because I'm not sure what the purpose is of ramming a screw with a lock nut on there just yet. So I'm going to start with this, what I know. And I've already put the 2 lock nuts in there. They may or may not be difficult for you. It definitely helps to have like a set of jewelry pliers, for example, to help get them in there correctly. Because if you're using your fat fingers like I was trying to at first, it's hard to get them in there. But just little jewelry pliers, you can twist it just right, and then it will drop right inside. So I got the rear, I'm guessing this is a suspension piece. That part's installed and it only fits in one of the 3 holes that are there. So that one will be self-explanatory. This long piece right there that you see right here, it's easiest to start this at this hole right here. So if you're looking at this chassis, that hole right there, right? And then just figure out where it lines up to it in one of these other holes. Oh, and these are, as near as I can tell, 10mm screws. Are the flush trim or tapered seat screws, right? Not panhead. So as of right now, lock nuts, I'm guessing this is actually the bottom side right here because all the screws are pretty much coming up through the bottom because the chassis has a lot of countersunk holes. I couldn't imagine them engraving and putting gold lettering inside the bottom of the chassis where it might scrape the bottom of the tarmac. Can't imagine that, but maybe I'm wrong. It's possible I'm wrong. Maybe this is the top side here. We'll certainly find out. So now we're going to move on to this piece of 15995. So that's another, or 115,595, excuse me. That's another 10mm screw, another lock nut, and we're going to jam that. It looks like right in the middle of those 2 plates right there. And that's what that looks like. So that's going to get oriented this way and then Sorry, my spatial orientation when looking through the camera is a little bit off, but so it should look something like that. Okay, so it doesn't quite slide in there. I'm going to try loosening this nut and see if it'll spread just a little bit, then stick that back down in there and see if that works. If that doesn't work, then I'll probably have to take a file or some sandpaper and sand this area down a little bit. Or those two plates, I don't know. This one will be easier because it's not mounted to anything. Alright, so now you should end up with something like that. The holes seem to be very nicely lined up. I don't see any kind of imperfections at all, at least as far as mechanically. All I did was loosen that one and loosen that one, slid this into place, put the screw and then lock nut on there, and then cinched all three of them down, and they all line up nicely. So very nice work. Man, these guys do hands-on work. These guys are phenomenal. The guy who sits behind the desk and sucks ass. I've just decided, since my internet is so slow, I'm going to break bag F up into every page of bag F, because this is definitely taking a long time. So I'm going to make a separate video when it comes to this one. I guess I'll label them bag F, A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3 or something like that. But anyway, I'll upload them in order, and then I'll put them in my Charisma 1 of 500 Pagani Zonda R. However I labeled that, I forgot right now. I'll label it accordingly. And then you'll be able to review them in order if you happen to build either the Formula 1 version or the GT car that I'm currently working on to help you out in your build process. So, next video,